Okay, part 3. This is where we figure out how we're going to pick the teens. This is hard, right?
Yes, this is one of the hardest parts.
Yeah. So we begin with this concept of the middle 60. And again, this is going to be different in every country and every setting.
Yes.
But the idea is that within your setting, there's 100% of the kids there are, right? And there's a spectrum of need. So that on one end of the spectrum, those are the kids that maybe have the least amount of need and the most amount of support in your village, in your city, in your wherever that is, okay? And the other end of the spectrum are the kids who have the greatest needs, and they're you know, financially, economically, maybe with parental support and other things, they have the greatest needs. And then there's the middle group. Now, our youth development principles are that we try to pick the majority from the middle. And the reason is that oftentimes these kids are going to be okay without the new city or the program that you're doing.
Yes.
And these kids, they might not be ready, right, for what you have to offer. So we're discerning the middle. And what we like to do is we like to take, I would say, 80% from this group, but then we want to draw a few from here, you know, and we want to be open to drawing a few from here too. Because these ones will lift the whole group, and these ones, you know, this is where our heart just is like, oh man, if we could reach these kids, it would be amazing. So the beautiful thing is we try to focus here though, but be open to some of the others. Now, criteria for selecting kids. Let's talk about that for a minute. What's an important criteria when you think you got 30 kids? How do I decide?
Yes. So first, you have to see who needs New City, who needs this opportunity. This is something that will literally project their life
in one direction or another.
Yeah. So like, you know, you most of the time you can usually see like through the interview and everything, they'll tell you what's going on in their life, and you can see it through their grades and everything like that. So yeah, that's the first thing. Basically, notice, do they need New City, or do they need your ministry?
Yeah, I think the second thing is, are they ready for it? You know, they might need it. They might be a perfect candidate in 2 years, but right now they're too squirrely, or they're too goofy, or they're just, you know, they don't show an ability to come day after day, and that's okay. Sometimes you need to wait a year. It's fine.
Yep.
So what's the third one?
The third one is basically the Holy Spirit. You know, that gut feeling. You shouldn't really make any choices without conspiring with the Holy Spirit, the one that lives within you. So if you feel like there's 2 teens that's like, okay, we only have 1 more spot, but these are 2 teens that need New City. They're ready for a New City. What do I do? The Holy Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit knows things that's going on in their life that we will never know.
And so sometimes we're going to have different Holy Spirit factors. So we're going to talk about that. So let's go over here to our little table.
Okay, so at this point of the process, you find a poster board or whatever you can find, and put all the teams that you feel made it to the end on this poster board. And if you can get pictures, even better. That's what they did with me when they took that picture on the first day. They used our pictures and put them on the poster board to make the process a little bit easier, just in case you forget the names over the 2 days. But yes, you take all the teams and you put all of their names on the poster board.
And then over here, you have the open spots. And you see I have them in 4 categories. You can have whatever categories you want, you know. But we often do tutors and musicians, and sometimes we have activities class. You could have entrepreneurs or agriculturalists, whatever you want. But this means this is going to be kind of their focus area. That doesn't mean they're not going to do the other stuff, but that's their focus area. And so now what we have to have in hand are a couple things. We have to have the role play 1-page assessment forms, right, that from their role play. And you want to have the interview notes, and then any notes from the spies. Right? And so what you want to do is invite the spies in to the pre-party party.
Okay.
And this is, the adults are going to be making the decisions.
Yes.
This is an area where you really do need some spiritual maturity.
Yep.
But we want to hear from the teens that helped out. Like, what did you notice about these kids? Anything you want to say, just take some notes from what they're saying.
And you should be able to trust these teens' input, because you chose some leaders to be at ITO and help you run it. So they were already looking out and being our spies, looking out for what this position entails or the program entails, and they're leaders in the program, so they know what is going to be expected.
They're good, good judges.
Yes. So.
It's fun. Okay, so then what we do, there's different ways to do this, and again, you can use whatever way fits your context, but we're just suggesting one way, because you're going to have 3 or 4 passionate adult staff.
Yes.
And these should be the same adults who are going to be working with these kids through the year, okay? You don't want to have your selection adults be different than the daily worker adults.
Right.
And they've been at the intern tryout, they've been praying, and then they have the notes, and what you do is you go around the circle. Each adult gets a pick, right? And so you go first, and you know, tell me why you pick a name, and you say, this one is the one we got to hire.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go with Mohammed.
All right.
The reason why I'm going with Mohammed is he was really quick to get on stage and get out of his comfort zone. Actually, he was one of the first teams to get out of his comfort zone. And I just think he would be a great leader.
Okay, and now the other teammates can weigh in a little bit. They can say, you know what, but does he need the job? He's got 2 parents at home, and he seemed like he gets good grades, and you know, does he really need the job? Because that's one of our core criteria. And then you can argue back.
I think he needs the job because he does have 2 parents at home, but he did share in his interview that his parents argue a lot, and that's why he needs a space to get away from home.
Okay. Where would you put him? What role do you think he would play?
I would probably put Mohammed as a tutor.
Okay. All right. So another way you can do this is you can have just 16 or I have 15 boxes here without designations, and later you can move them into their slots, but you get the idea. So I'll go next. I'm going to pick Anna.
Okay.
What's weird is that she flopped her interview, and but I just, in the role play, it was incredible.
Okay.
The way that she lit up, like this meant something to her. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't know, it just felt like God saying to me, this is somebody who is going to flourish here. She doesn't interview well, but when she's in a group, she shines. Okay. And you know what I did in the interview? I made her learn a drum lesson. Okay. And so maybe that's what freaked her out, but she actually did good on the drums. She just wouldn't talk. So I would pick her. So what do you think?
I was gonna say, so if she didn't, you said she didn't interview well.
Right.
So if she didn't interview well, that means that she wasn't paying attention completely when we were teaching the interview. But you did say her role play did an amazing job. So
I think it's because she froze up. She, you know, it was like there's this one adult in the room.
Okay.
And in the group setting, she was fine, but it was one adult.
It is a lot of pressure.
When I asked her to play the drums, I showed her some. Then she had something she could do without talking, and she did great. So.
All right. Yeah, I think. All right.
So then we just kind of go back and forth, and then what happens? Just go ahead, start putting them anywhere in a minute here.
All right.
Well, what's going to happen is that you're going to finish, and you're going to realize that some of the kids that you had a heart for aren't in here, and that's going to make you.
Put them on keys.
That's going to make you reconsider a little bit and say, oh, well, picking these means we have, you know, we've left Chrissy out. I can't believe we left Chrissy out. Now, there's no way we can leave Chrissy out, right? And so then you guys can say, oh, you know what? Well, Vinny, I wanted him, but now that you put it that way, I really see that Chrissy needs it more.
Yeah. And
you can make some final adjustments, okay? Once that's done, you pray about it, and you also have to have a final decision maker, okay? Because there will be arguments, so you have to know ahead of time who's the final decision maker. Yeah. Once the final chart is selected, then you want to let the kids know as soon as possible. And in the U.S., we let them know by email, but however you're going to do it, a letter, or you're going to tell each kid directly. Again, emphasize that this may not be for this season, but it's an opportunity for later. And then you're gonna let them know in the letter when they need to show up.
Yep.
Okay? Yep. And let their parents know, and you want to have a parent orientation session, all of that.
And also let them know when they will receive their answer as if they got the job or not.
During the third day of the tryout.
Yes, before they leave, let them know, because otherwise they'll just be stressing. And
Right. I didn't hear. Well, you weren't going to hear till the weekend.
And if you don't get the job, you never hear, and you're like, so did I get the job?
Yeah, no, we always tell everybody.
Yes.
Yes or no. Even if it's a no, we're going to reach out to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it. Hope you enjoyed the videos, and call us or email us with questions.